everyone, I'm Sophie Morales and this is Sophie's Tips. If you've never seen the channel before, let me briefly explain what we talk about in this channel. We do reviews, unboxings, how-to videos, recipes, everything that you need to make the most of those kitchen appliances that you have at home. And if for some reason you haven't decided, we do comparisons, just like today, which we're gonna talk about different Vitamixes. Let's get started. But before we do, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more tips and videos like this. Today we're gonna talk about two different models of Vitamixes. The first one that I have over here is the 5200, and this one over here is the Vitamix Venturist Pro. I'm going to talk about the differences, I'm gonna talk about the similarities, and in the end, I'm gonna tell you which one I prefer. First of all, let's talk about the size. Both of them have a capacity of 2 liters or 64 ounces. The only difference is the container and the shape. The Venturist Pro, as you can see, is a little bit wider, and the 5200, it's a little bit taller. So you need to consider that in your counter space. If your kitchen does not have the height, you might consider the Venturist Pro because it gives you the same capacity with a little bit less height. But if that's not a problem, then you might consider the 5200. One other thing I want to mention regarding the physical characteristics of both models is that they're pretty heavy. It's not that easy to move around in your kitchen, so you might want to pick the right spot for them and just make sure that that's where you're going to use it and you don't have to be moving it from one place to another. Which brings me to the motor base. They're pretty heavy, they're pretty sturdy. The center is made out of metal, which makes them long-lasting and give better results. And placing the container on top of the motor base for both models is the same, and it's pretty simple. You don't have to turn it or anything. All you have to do is just place them up top, and that's it. It fits there. You don't have to do anything else. An important difference of the motor base from one to another is that the Venturist Pro has a shorter cable, and the 5200 has a longer cable. We're talking about 3.5 feet for the Venturist Pro and 6 feet for the 5200. So it all depends on your kitchen. If your plug is farther away, you might need to choose the 5200, and if it's closer, then you might need to choose the Venturist Pro. For both models, the cable is very thick. It seems very resistant. And one of the things that is really cool, it has that feature for both models, is that you can wrap the cable around the motor base at the bottom of the base. Now let's talk about an important part, the controls. Although they look very similar, they do have some differences. The Venturist Pro has a switch on the side, a security switch. So if the switch is off, even if you move the control panel at the front, it's not going to do anything. You have to turn it on first, and then you can move all the controls in the front, which that security feature is not available for the model 5200. If you have kids, for example, that you think that might be moving around with the control panel at the front, you might think about the Venturist Pro instead of the 5200. Another thing that is different from one to another is that the Venturist Pro has a pulse function. So it all depends on what you're thinking of preparing. If you're maybe chopping something and you think that pulse is important for you, you might need to consider the Venturist Pro instead of the 5200. This one does not have a pulse. It just has another feature called high, which gives you the highest speed available. So if you're thinking of doing something that needs a really high speed, a lot of power, you might be thinking of the 5200. So that's the difference between the first switch over here and the 5200. If you put it at the bottom, it says variable. And what it's gonna let you do when you have it on that feature is that you're gonna be able to control with the speed dial in the middle, the different speeds depending on what you're preparing. Regarding the speed dial, they're very similar. Both of them have 10 levels and they have no increments, meaning that it runs smoothly, both of them, which gives you the ability to kind of tweak it just a little bit if you need to be very precise on your speed. That's a benefit for both models. The other switch that we have over here is the on and off switch for both models. And one last thing I want to mention regarding the Venturist Pro is that it does have a timer. So you can take a look right here at the front how much time you have been blending. That's really cool because it gives you more precision, and you know if you're blending the correct time regarding a recipe, or it prevents you from over blending your mixtures, which the 5200 does not have. Now, an important thing to mention is that neither of these models of Vitamixes have programs, meaning that if I want to do a smoothie or a soup or a nut butter, for example, I need to know how to prepare myself, how much time I have to put, what is the speed that I need to use. So that is something that it depends on your expertise in the kitchen. Now we're gonna talk about a part that for me was part of the tiebreaker, the lids. For both of them, they kind of have the same way of operating. They're a two-part lid. They have a smaller lid that you can remove to add ingredients while you're mixing, and also you can use the tamper while you're blending. And both of them work the same way. You put it on top of the container, and they have two clips that help put the lid in place. The biggest difference that I see, and it's why I like the 5200 better than the Venturist Pro, is the material. The Venturist Pro is made out of Tritan, which is a BPA plastic, but it is a hard plastic. So for me, it's very hard to put the lid in place. Even if the reviews out there say that it is very easy, it is not. For me, since it's a hard plastic, it is very hard, it is not malleable. You kind of have to see where you're gonna put it in the container and kind of push really hard to be able to put those clips in place and actually close the container. And for the 5200, it's kind of rubberish. So it's very malleable, very flexible. So when you're putting it, it's very easy. You're in a fast-paced restaurant, you just want to put this in and just start blending. It is so easy, so easy. You don't need to even push hard for the clips to go in. So that for me was a big thing. I like this lid better than this one. Tell me in the comments if you have any of this Vitamixes. Do you have trouble with this one? Would you rather choose the rubber one, or the other way around? Do you have the rubber one and would you like this one that it is harder and a bit more resistant? Speaking of the containers, I want to mention something very important regarding the cleaning and regarding the materials. For the Venturist Pro, just as the lid, the container is made out of BPA-free Tritan that you could put in the dishwasher. So it is dishwasher safe for you to clean it very easily. But for the 5200, there is that slight but. It is not dishwasher safe. It is BPA free, but it is not dishwasher safe. The lid is not dishwasher safe. The smaller lid is not dishwasher safe, and the container is not dishwasher safe. So if you're one of those persons that puts everything in the dishwasher, you might consider the Venturist Pro instead of going for the 5200. Both of them come with a tamper. The only difference is the material. For the 5200, we have a tamper that for me looks a little bit more elegant. The color is a little bit shinier. The plastic is a little bit nicer than the Venturist Pro. We're talking about a plastic that it seems like a recycled plastic, a little bit nicer. It serves its purpose. So it depends on you. If you're looking for something that you think looks more elegant, you might go for the 5200. If you're looking for something that just serves its purpose, it's fine. I don't mind that it looks like this. Then you can go for the Venturist Pro. In terms of performance, they are both Vitamixes. They both blend well. They both have excellent results with smoothies, with nut butter, with ice, and they both have the hot blending function. What is the hot blending function? Basically, if you put something like a cold soup out of the fridge, you can put it in the blender, blend for a couple of minutes, and it'll start to heat up to a point that you can serve it without having to heat it in the stove, for example. I want to talk about the accessories that you can purchase separately. Both of them are compatible with a lot of the Vitamix accessories that are out there. For me, one of the most important ones that I have, that they have to fit the 5200 and the Venturist Pro, which it did, was the stainless steel container. For me, this one is one that I wanted to use for certain preparations. For me, the steel was very important, so it fits both models, which I love. And in terms of price, we all know Vitamixes are expensive. They are. That's it. That's a fact. And both of them range at around $500, give it or take it. So it kind of does not make a difference in the price. Unless you have one on sale, you might pick that one instead of the other one. Here you have them, the Vitamixes. We have the Vitamix Venturist Pro and the Vitamix 5200 that we compared with different characteristics. For me, in the end, the winner was the 5200, and for two reasons mainly. One of them was the lid. For me, it was very important to be able to place the lid and remove the lid easily. And the second thing was the temper. I like the temper better. That's it. But they're basically very similar. So in the end, my conclusion is that they're both Vitamixes. They're both high-performing blenders. They are professional grade. You're never gonna go wrong with one of these Vitamixes, and they're very similar. Honestly, the performance, the power, everything that I did for the preparations, they give you very similar results. So it all comes to two things. One of them, which for me is the most important thing, is the price. If you see one that is cheaper over the other one, I would go with that one. And second thing is preference. I mean, if you're thinking of the dishwasher safe version, I would go with the Venturist Pro. If you don't mind having to clean by hand, you can do this one. And the preference and controls. If you want to see the timer, you might want to go with the Vitamix Venturist Pro. If you don't mind the timer and you want something that is simpler to use, you might go by the 5200. So it all depends on your taste and how to operate a blender. Tell me in the comments, what do you think about these blenders? Are you looking for one? Are you trying to find one that is on sale? Maybe I'll put down in the comments when I see them on sale, because they're always, this one I bought it on Costco, it was on sale. This one I bought it on Amazon, it was on sale. So they kind of go on and off, and you can find them cheaper than those $500 from time to time, $350 around there. If there's one that is out there that is $350, I'll just let you know in the comments. But if you want to share something with us, just let us know at the bottom in the comments. I love reading your comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more tips and videos like this one. See you next time. Ciao.